What are your thoughts on Andrew Tate?
I think he contradicts himself. He does have some point to what he's saying, but at the end of it, he just makes an idiot of himself.
I personally love the guy. He's turned kids into men.
He has no good points at all. I think he's just a very insecure man.
I know some girls don't like him. They'll probably be like, he's too abusive, he's too toxic.
He doesn't respect women, so I won't respect him.
If a girl said what Andrew Tate said, they'll probably be like, oh yeah, go sis, you know, we love you, this, that.
You're a fucking loser. You're literally a fucking loser. You've just jacked off the pixels on a screen of a girl who doesn't even know that you exist. Here is some shame. Let's fill you up with some regrets and post-nut clarity. So now you've got no motivation, you just sat there fucking drooling from the mouth, you're tired, and you feel like shit. And when you feel like shit, when you feel shameful, when you feel depressed, when you have no energy, it's a lot easier to be more sucked into these platforms. More and more and more and
more. In 1986, the female hand pressure per handshake was 98 pounds per square inch. 2016, it's 108. Men, 1986, 114. Men today, 96.
What does that mean?
Well, it means that men aren't what they used to be. Men aren't the guys today, are not the guys that settled the Western United States.
Because they're not pulling the trigger and not taking action and risks, which is how we survived.
Correct.
Instead, they are having self-esteem issues.
Correct.
Because they're being told that you shouldn't be aggressive, that patriarchy is bad, you have privilege, and you need to tone it down.
Correct.
There's a reason education sucks, because the owners of this country don't want that. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club, because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
It was fucking nuts. Yeah, I grew up in a very, angry time. You know, you were afraid of your dad's dad. I talked about this shit before, but I'm still working through it, so just bear with me. You just were fucking, I love seeing kids nowadays loving their dad. Dad, what's Dad? Want to go play, Dad? Let's go ride bikes, Dad! Dad! Yeah, when I was a kid, it was like, Dad, fuck, Dad, fuck! Run! Open a window! Mom, what did you see in that? Fucking lunatic, right? And not just my house. I love my parents, but it was just the time. Everybody was fucking crazy. You were afraid, and people could put their hands on you, and other people's dads could hit you, and then you come home, oh, what the fuck did you do? I'll fucking hit you first, just nuts. Teachers would grab you, dig their nails into your fucking neck. She'd come home. Well, she wouldn't have done that unless something fucking happened, right? It was all of that shit.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters. The very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was. Look again.